up, my YouTubians, ODYSEEans, Slayin, Sayins, Cobra Kai's, and Pumpkin who be smashing. I'm Asherella, this is Original Asherella, and today we're going to be watching some 90s Nickelodeon, specifically some intros to some 90s SNICK shows, some of my favorite SNICK shows, and to find out what those shows are, you gotta keep watching, and I'm going to get into that in just 1 second, but before I do, if you're watching on YouTube, subscribe to the channel. If you're watching me, Asherella, here on ODYSEE, follow the channel. You can leave me a like, you can leave me a dislike, you can leave me a comment. You can gently press the notification bell so you know every time I upload a video, and follow me on my things, the Insta thing and the Twitter thing. Okay guys, I hope everybody is as excited as I am to be watching some SNICK show intros. Now, I personally think that like the majority of the SNICK, you know SNICK, like Saturday Night Nick with the big orange couch, like I personally think the programming on SNICK is some of the best of the 90s. It's definitely the best like children's and like youth programming of the 90s. But it's just so good and I love it so much. And there are a few shows that I love especially, and that is Clarissa Explains It All, The Adventures of Pete and Pete, and Are You Afraid of the Dark? And so we're going to be watching the intros for all three of those. And I am just really eager to do it. So without me yakking on anymore, let's get into it. First up, we will be watching the original Clarissa Explains It All intro. Now, they recorded another intro that is different for like the second and remaining seasons, but the first season had this intro. Way cool. Okay, what does this intro remind you of that we've watched recently? Okay, Blossom. Do you guys remember? It was actually the last intro that they ever filmed for Blossom. It was Blossom, and every other character in the show, it was like, she was like that character's version of Blossom, and that is very much what we've got going on here in this intro for Clarissa. And you know, oddly enough, this intro was filmed like a few years before that Blossom intro. So, I wonder if the Blossom like writers ripped off Clarissa Explains It All. Sam was probably my favorite character outside of Clarissa because, you know, he was like the cool boy best friend, you know. Okay, Clarissa is a fashion icon. I would totally wear this outfit. You know, Clarissa, she always just looks fly. Okay, so before we get into the next Clarissa Explains It All intro, this was the intro that was used for the remainder of the show, and it's the same theme song. It's kind of like jazzed up a little bit, but it is a different, you know, they filmed some different stuff for it. Ferguson was like the quintessential annoying little brother. Like, he was as vile as a pesky little brother could be, maybe even more so. Hey, cool. And of course, Clarissa had her nerdy, well-meaning parents. Okay, Clarissa Explains It All, like watching Clarissa in reruns as a kid is how I realized that the name Sean was spelled Sean. Just random fact. Okay, I think next is the Adventures of Pete and Pete intro. And as I mentioned, this song is a banger. It is such a good song. I literally think it could have been like a standalone, like, radio single, but let's listen. Okay, those lyrics are, hey, smiling strange, you're looking happily deranged. Like, I like it, and it just, I don't know, it just, this show was so, like, indie and alternative and just really kind of ridiculous, but it all worked well. I mean, you've got two brothers with the same name. Like, what parents name their children the same name other than George Foreman and Pete and Pete's parents? I don't know. But the song just, it fits the vibe so perfectly. And the band that does this song is called Polaris. And this song wasn't actually even released on an album until well after, like, the show. But it is, they do have an album that you can download. Polaris is the band's name. But the only way you could get a copy of this song was from, like, a Kellogg's cassette tape thing. Like, where you sent in, like, proof of purchase from Kellogg's cereal, and you could get a tape that had, like, these theme songs from Nickelodeon shows. I can't say in bed, or have you picked your target yet? Listen, don't you dog bite? Again, in Pete and Pete, we have, like, well-meaning but just kind of clueless parents. But I think that is just, like, generally the case with any type of, like, kids show, right? Okay, another, ridiculous just aspect of Adventures of Pete and Pete is that you had Artie, who is a superhero, the strongest man in the world, but he was like the nerdiest thing you'd ever seen. Absolutely the opposite of what you would think of as like the strongest man in the world. I don't know. It was just, everything about it was just ridiculous, but it was never framed up to be so odd or unrealistic. It's like the realest kind of surreal television show that you'll ever watch. I mean, for Christ's sake, Pete has a arm tattoo, Petunia, like a hot chick, and he's like, what, 9 when the show starts, and they don't know how he got it. But Pete and Pete was such a good show, and that theme song is a great, great, great TV show theme song. Okay, now we have, okay, Are You Afraid of the Dark? There's only 2 more we're gonna watch. There is a, like, kind of condensed version of it that they would show sometimes and kind of as a commercial, and then there's an extended Are You Afraid of the Dark that they would play, like, right before the show. God, I remember finding this so creepy and so scary as a kid. Like, if it was night and I was alone, like, watching Nickelodeon in my living room or watching, reruns in my living room, those empty, like, playground swings, swinging in the wind, and, like, that fan, it literally made you feel some type of way. Like, when you were a kid watching this, it was legitimately terrifying. And I don't know, like, I mean, it's not scary now, it's cool, but they really, really did a good job with the children's horror aspect of Are You Afraid of the Dark? And man, the music and all the sound effects in it, it is just so good and creepy. It's just so good and creepy. Now, this is the more extended version. Yeah. The Midnight Society. Oh man, this was such a good episode. It was like a Nosferatu type thing. But they were all really good. Man, I want to have like an Are You Afraid of the Dark like marathon. Okay, so that was like the same music, you know, that they use in the spookier intro, but just kind of sped up and like jazzed up a little bit. But all those were just so good. And like, I don't know, man. I don't think that children's programming will ever be as good as it was in the 90s. I don't know. Let me know what you think. What is your favorite SNICK show? Let me know all that down in the comments below. That is it for today. Kind of a short one, but I am Asherella. This is Original Asherella. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe to the channel. Watch it on ODYSEE. Follow the channel. Gently press the notification bell on either platform. Find me on Twitch. Original Asherella on Twitch. Sunday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Kino and commentary. Leave me a like. Leave me a comment. Always tap in. Never tap out. And don't forget to keep on slaying like a Sayin. I forgot to tell you to follow me on my things. Follow me on my things. I have the Insta thing and the Twitter thing. That is all now.